Yo, what is going on? Cover One Crew, welcome back to the show. Everybody's doing good as always. I'm always awesome. We're talking football because trade deadlines are coming in fantasy football. You might have yours this week or next. So we got some players we got to keep tabs on buy now players. Who are we targeting to get us over the top, win those fantasy football championships, baby? It is getting that much closer. When we got 4 more weeks till the fantasy playoffs do begin, we can stack our rosters, man, especially with teams that are still vying for a playoff spot and will sell off some of their top-end talent to help their cause, which in turn will help ours as well. Let's start off with running backs. I got 8 players on the board. We're talking David Montgomery, my dude Monty. Okay, he's been doing okay this season. Nothing crazy great that we have seen overall, but I mean, he's been good overall in 2025, but it hasn't been like it was last year, man. We saw over 80% last year. And I know he hasn't been necessarily the player that he was last year, but I mean, for the postseason push for these Lions, they will use Montgomery quite a bit more down the stretch. You got to believe he did take a massive haircut, like I said, on that boom rate, going down to, 44% off an 80% marker. I mean, it doesn't help that Gibby, that he's just absolutely killing it this season, and the Lions continue to utilize him in bunches. I'm still got monster faith in a David Montgomery to be a big part of our rosters. I mean, he's going to be a help, man, to get us those trophies. There is no question. Almost 100 points on the season, almost 500 yards, 5 rushing TDs. Schedule is very much favorable in their direction. Eagles, Giants, they got the Packers, Dallas Cowboys week 14. That one's going to be huge for us to get into the fantasy football playoffs if you are on that fringe as well. LA Rams, Pittsburgh Steelers, Minnesota Vikings, they will need tough running in the playoffs, in the fantasy football playoffs for us, and David Montgomery is definitely going to be one of those guys you got to buy now on cheaper dollars because he is definitely one that we can covet. Derrick Henry, next one on the board. And I get it, man. One of the most disappointing seasons has come in the form of King Henry. I mean, we maybe just witnessing the eventual fall of this, generational type of running back, future Hall of Famer. Maybe this is the season that we do start to see him fall off, but I'm not necessarily going to bank on that at this point. I think it had more to do in terms of circumstance rather than, the eventualities that he eventually will not be the same guy that we know. But, I mean, the Ravens started slow out the gates. Everybody was getting hurt. They lost Lamar Jackson. Henry was fumbling the ball early, but they're going to run again, man. They got to run the table to win this division and keep pace to get back into the playoff picture themselves. So they're definitely going to be utilizing a King Henry quite a bit. Running back value definitely does rest here at bargain rates. 55% boom rate right now. I believe he was 100% boomer last year, so it is a big fall off for him. 112 points, 704 yards, 6 TDs. So you know that they're going to continue to run the football. Cleveland Brownies, tough matchup. They got the Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals. That right there from week 12 to week 15 is absolutely going to be glorious. Then the Patriots and then the Packers. Very much a tough show for those fantasy football finals for a King Henry. But at this point, he can take us over the top, giving us, like I said, those running back one values. Scoop up Henry now at cheaper rates than what we would ever have him. Hopefully he does rebound. I'm still banking on the faith that he will rebound this season. Chase Brown, next one on my board. Cincinnati Bengals, okay, taking on week 11, Pittsburgh, New England. Then here's the bread that he's going to definitely carry us with those Baltimore Ravens, Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Miami Dolphins, Arizona Cardinals. That last stretch of 5-6 games going to be absolutely stellar for a Chase Brown. Only 44% on that boom rate, almost 100 points for himself as well. 420 yards, 2 rushing TDs, but what has lifted him up is that receiving game. And, I mean, when the Bengals definitely traded for Joe Flacco, I mean, this offense finally came back to the good books, making everybody fantasy relevant once again, including Chase Brown, which is great. Like I said, his rushing numbers still remain on the middle class, but his PPR upside and goal line upside definitely will continue in the right direction. And the news coming out that Joey B, he might be returning back to the fold week 14. Doesn't really matter. Whether it's Joey B, whether it's Joe Flacco, it looks like both can be trusted at the quarterback position to help bring Brown back to life Great value to returns are here, man. We could get him cheaper dollars and still, you could probably plug and play him as your running back too from now until the fantasy football finals. I absolutely love going to see what the appetite is for Chase Brown on the open market. Stefon Diggs, we can Diggs it, man. Buy now candidate for me as well. As much as it hurts seeing him succeed with these New England Patriots this offseason, I did mention to all y'all, if we are drafting Diggs, he would have had to have fallen into that 9-10 round for me because I was skeptical of that repaired knee. Diggs recovered, and I mean, he has not looked back, taking progressive steps every single week, and with Drake May looking the part of that true superstar quarterback that we know, man, Diggs, he's impressed. He's improved basically most every week, becoming that true wide receiver one that he has been in the past. Not necessarily maybe Buffalo Bills Diggs, but he's making plays, man. When called upon, Drake May's hitting him, and he is making a lot of plays. Pat's definitely flying up the standings with Diggs being a huge part of that. And, I mean, the schedule does not look daunting for these Patriots either, where they got the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants, the bye week, the Bills, Baltimore, and then finishing it off with the New York Jets without somebody like Sauce Gardner. So those Reds for the Jets will go down without Sauce, no question. And, I mean, Diggs and these Pats, they are vying for that division title, division crown in the AFC East from those Buffalo Bills, and Diggs is going to be a big part of this mix. If you can go and snag a Diggs because you need some extra oomph at the wide receiver position, he will definitely help your cause. No question about that. Should be good rates and super high returns. You go buy Diggs immediately if you can. Do not sell the farm, but I'm telling y'all, Diggs definitely is a good one. Jameson Williams, Detroit Lions, and okay, JMO hasn't necessarily been the massive upside play at consistent levels this season, but he has done very well when called upon. The Lions have mentioned more and more, on more than one occasion, I should say, that he needs to get the ball more often in his hands because he is that true playmaker, whether it is the deep threat, whether we see his route tree expanding like we have the past several weeks. Seeing strong games of late definitely is upping him up my trends, no question, and the Lions going to definitely continue to script him into their plans. He's going to, be still amazing on matchup upside play down the stretch as well. Some managers can't trust him, which is good for us to buy. And we got the Eagles, the Giants, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Steelers, and the Vikings. All very nice, tasty matchups for wide receiver talent here outside of the Vikings. That game could be a massive one as well because they do play a very strong defense. But I'm telling y'all right now, JMO is one of these guys. 85 points, 44% on that boom rate. And the boom rate is only contingent on the fact of limited target share that he does receive majority of the weeks. I'm still banking on JMO to be that massive flex upside play for us when we need him in matchups. And I think he's going to be a huge get for us for the fantasy football playoff push. I am buying him. Yes, please. JMO, I mean, definitely at rates we can afford. You don't even have to ship out massive ends to go get him. Justin Jefferson, buy now candidate as well. Another one of these players, much like a Derrick Henry, frustrating overall this season. And I mean, it hasn't necessarily been JJ's fault this year. The quarterback play with these Minnesota Vikings has crippled the top end usage and upside of a JJ, no question. However, with a JJ McCarthy back, he has shown that uneven play mixed with, high efficiency and lackluster performances. Justin Jefferson, he's going to have to put that cape on. He's going to have to make every play count, every opportunity count. We saw a little bit of the game off last week where he wasn't necessarily putting in the full end effort, but I mean, still booming at nearly 80% levels, 77.8% right now. I mean, but the boom games have been on the lesser end. So while he is sticking in the plus column when it comes to boom rate, it's not that takeover contest for a majority of the time that we do see from a Justin Jefferson. I'm looking around for the appetite to see which club would be willing to move a JJ because you do got some good upside here as well. Chicago Bears, man, Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks is the toughest matchup in Week 13. Then you got the Commies, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Detroit Lions. Justin Jefferson could have a monumental second half of this season where he is coming from Week 11 to Week 17. He could have a massive blow up for us. And if the appetite for a club that is kind of struggling on the lower end to make it into the fantasy football playoffs, we could offer stuff and get him off the roster. And, it's going to be a package deal, obviously, to go get JJ, but definitely worth it if you have the depth purposes to upgrade to potentially see JJ become back that wide receiver one we're looking for. Absolutely buy now. Juwan Johnson, tight ends. I got two for you on my board. Tight end has been a crapshoot once again this season for the most part overall, outside of maybe a handful of guys who do consistently boom for us. And I mean, one big game can shoot up a tight end into the top 10 weekly, and that's just how it is every season, man. You roll into the end zone 8 times by a tight end, and you're going to finish the season as a top 8 caliber tight end. But with that said, Juwan Johnson, he's been very strong all season. I mean, he did take a little bit of a haircut when Spencer Rattler was in and was not force-feeding him, but now a rookie quarterback, Tyler Shogg, I mean, things are back on track in a very good way. Shogg's definitely got the arm talent, the ability to feed his playmakers. We're seeing Chris Olave get in the mix. We're seeing Juwan get back in the mix on good levels as well. And it's a positive because Shogg is a decent quarterback, man. He's got a good arm, he's got good footwork, and he's got good mechanics. He does struggle with short to intermediate accuracy at times, but it's all we require for fantasy football. And with Rashid Shaheed now gone, traded, we're going to see a lot of targets going toward Juwan that he would have had. Almost 90 points, 60 targets for Juwan at this point. 60% of that boom rate definitely is good. Bye week in week 11, and then it's the Falcons, the Dolphins, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Jets, and the Tennessee Titans. So very favorable schedule for Juwan Johnson as well. And if Tyler Shogg continues to progress in the direction that we think he should continue doing, Juwan could be a definite top 10 fantasy caliber tight end all the way down the stretch and being a potential league winner for us. Last one we got is George Kittle, the people's tight end. And I mean, injuries have definitely been the issue and derailed our season at least. The 49ers keep finding ways to win football games, but it's definitely derailed our fantasy upside this year. Kittle back, I mean, the last 3 contests, they've been pretty good. They have not been, Kittle great at this point. Brock Purdy, he's looking to clear, looking a lot closer to clear to suit up this week as well. That is positive news. If Purdy can stay healthy, this should get a George Kittle back on track late in the season. High-end point production as well. Kittle's a shoo-in on a, normal week with this offense is humming, 10 to 12 points? He gets into the end zone, you're looking 15 to 20. That's what George Kittle does provide. He was the tight end 3 last year, and he could have been the tight end 1 easily had he got one more touchdown. So for me, coming off his injury, getting his feet wet back in this offense, no worse for wear with that hamstring injury. Snag him before we get on that championship run because he will be a carrier for us. 60% on that boom rate. 24 targets, 21 receptions. Guys catching everything to come his way. Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Brownies, bye week, Tennessee, Indy, Chicago to finish off the season. I'm definitely looking in the direction to see if we can grab a George Kittle off anybody's roster because he would be a plug-and-play. Wouldn't even have to think about our tight end spot if we got a George Kittle on our roster. But there you have it. That is 8 players I'm looking to buy now as trade deadlines are coming up very soon. I might have one next week as well for trade deadline show, who we should keep, who we should absolutely trade for. I think I will do that, so definitely stay tuned for that next week. But we got Boomer Bust, we got Start Sit coming for you this week at the end of the week as well, so stay tuned for that. You in on these guys, you out on these guys, definitely let me know in those comments which direction you are going. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments like I'm saying, and we'll see you next time. I am out.